On the 9th of June, Google released something most of the world will experience as a small convenience: real-time speech translation across more than 70 languages, working in noisy rooms, already sitting in an app on your phone. For most people, it is a welcome convenience. For Africa, a continent of 2,000 languages, it is far more consequential. The barrier that quietly made artificial intelligence more useful to English speakers than to everyone else has just become much smaller. Here is the problem it addresses. From the very first large language models, these systems were trained mostly on English. The result was predictable. AI worked better in English, produced weaker answers in African languages, and made English fluency a practical entry ticket to the best tools. For millions of people, that was not a small inconvenience. It was the difference between AI being a useful professional instrument and AI being a technology that served someone else. The old systems carried a hidden design flaw. Whatever two languages you spoke, the conversation was forced through English in the middle, Zulu to English, then English to Sesotho, two translations instead of one, each adding its own errors. So any pairing that did not include English was served worst of all. The new model removes that English intermediary entirely. It supports more than 2,000 language combinations in a single meeting, with no pivot in the middle. Consider the scale of the shift. The previous version of this feature in Google Meet handled 5 languages and could only translate to and from English. Every conversation ran through that one bottleneck. The new model handles more than 70 languages and thousands of combinations, and 2 people can speak Swahili and Zulu directly. This is not a product enhancement. It is a structural correction to a design choice that quietly disadvantaged everyone who did not speak English. And this is not a laboratory demonstration. Grab, the ride-hailing and payments platform across Southeast Asia, is already testing it for drivers and passengers who do not share a language. Their users make more than 10 million voice calls a month. Noisy streets, time pressure, no chance to stop and type. The translation layer simply removes the shared language requirement from the transaction. That is proof at commercial scale that this works in exactly the messy conditions Africa lives in. Now bring it home. South Africa has 11 official languages, and most people do not work, receive healthcare, or deal with government primarily in English. A nurse who speaks Zulu with a patient who speaks Sesotho, an advisor and a client who thinks in Tsonga. Everyday moments whose outcomes are shaped by language. So here is the uncomfortable line for every board. An AI tool that works beautifully in English and poorly in Zulu, Sesotho, or Afrikaans is not a productivity tool for your organization. It is a productivity tool for the English-speaking part of it. This raises 3 questions your current AI strategy has probably not asked. First, inclusion. Does every tool in your stack work as well in your people's languages as it does in English? Or have you only measured half your workforce? Second, obligation. In healthcare, finance, and public service, you already carry legal duties to serve people in their own official language. Third, accountability. When an AI translates in a clinic or a courtroom, who is responsible when it gets something wrong? Google has watermarked every translation this model produces, so it can be identified as machine-generated. That is genuinely ahead of the rules. Europe's AI Act begins requiring exactly this kind of labeling on the 2nd of August. But notice the gap. A watermark tells you a translation was made by AI. It does not tell you how accurate it had to be, who carries the liability when it fails, or when a person has the right to a human interpreter. The capability has arrived, the governance has not. So here is the reframe. The language barrier was never one wall. It was many, built over years, and several have just fallen at once, at a price of 0 on phones people already own. The technology is here. The frameworks for accuracy, liability, and inclusion are the work now, and that work should not wait until the cost of its absence shows up in the consequences. If you would like, I will come and run this with your leadership team and help you turn a real shift in what is possible into a short, honest list of the questions worth answering first.